I'm going to either win 388 games or I'm going to win 389. Neither one of them throw me over the hump or nothing. Unless something happened to Joe today. Anything happened to Joe today?
Offense, control the line of scrimmage. Be dominant. Communicate up front. Dominate with our size and athleticism. Ain't no time now to worry about what the outcome is. Don't look at the scoreboard. One play at a time. From the first play to the last play.
Need a horn and drum roll.
Talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Season's over. A different time. I told you they remember November. But December's our time. December's we do what we do. That's Florida State time. We're back where we belong.
Let's get it on. Need a horn to break it down. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches. Just change.
I'm going to either win 388 games or I'm going to win 389. It's either one of them throw me over the hump or nothing. Unless something happened to Joe today. Anything happened to Joe today?
Offense, control the line of scrimmage. Be dominant. Communicate up front. Dominate with our size and athleticism. Ain't no time now to worry about what the outcome is. Don't look at the scoreboard. One play at a time. From the first play to the last play.
Need a horn and a drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Season's over. A different time. I told you they remember November. But December's our time. December's we do what we do. That's Florida State time. We're back where we belong.
Let's get it on. Need a horn. Break it down.
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Well. What do we have here? Florida State. Florida State decides to move to 8-0, 6-0 in conference play. So we got 3 games on right now. I got Louisville Duke because that's going to be a big we're going to see who we're going to play, I believe, in the ACC championship game. Louisville Duke on one screen. I got Miami and Virginia on another screen. Oh, shoot, something just was really funny about that. And then I've got Georgia and Florida on another screen. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And I got to tell you, man, this was a damn good football game, I thought, on both sides of the ball today, man. I really believe that. I thought Florida State played a really good football game. A really good football game. The third quarter stalled a little. The third quarter stalled a tad. Nothing that I was concerned about. Look, man, you played a team. You played a team that we knew. We knew what we had there. We knew that team was food. I talked about it on Wednesday that Georgia. Wake Forest was they were average. They couldn't score over 20 points in ACC play. They were not able to score over 20 points in any ACC game. At no point did I think they were going to somehow magically start scoring against us. FSU they're coming into our own, I think, as the season continues. Jordan Travis had a game that I really think he needed to have today. I really believe Jordan Travis has needed to have this game today. Was it a Heisman moment type game? No. I think you can get that against your Floridas and your Miamis, but you put together statistically maybe his best performance. I don't think maybe. I think definitely his best performance of the year. We'll get into the stats here in a minute. But, he put together statistically his best performance of the year. I think 4 total touchdowns, over 350 yards passing. I mean, that's a big time game from Jordan Travis there to keep his name. And as long as Florida State remains to be undefeated, Jordan Travis will be in the mix for that Heisman talk. And all it's going to take is one game, one big game against the Florida Hurricanes. Holy crap. The Florida Gators or the Miami Hurricanes. And you're right in the, you're there. You're there in New York. So hit the like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Share the videos, let everybody know we are live over here on 863 Seminole TV. Post game, Wake Forest, FSU goes into Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and drubs the Demon Deacons 41-16. I had a pregame prediction of 47-16. So I was a little off there. Again, man, that 38, guys, I told you that 38 continues to be the sweet spot if you're a Seminole fan. 41-16 for Florida State. And again, overall, I think you got a really good game. Quick score recap going on across the country in case anybody's interested. The Gators are up 6-0 on the Bulldogs. Uh-oh. That clown show down south is down 7-0 to Virginia. Clemson is down 10-7. Clemson continues to be absolutely god-awful this year. The Clemson Tigers. Louisville's up 7-0 on Duke. Let's go to the top 25. Kansas might do the Lord's work today, people. And Florida could do some things too. Again, we're not rooting for the Gators, but it ain't a bad thing if Florida beats the Bulldogs. But Kansas is up 32-7 on the Oklahoma Sooners. Texas is already up 7-0 on BYU. Oregon's up 7-0 over Utah. Notre Dame up on Pitt, who we do see next weekend. Notre Dame's up 7-0 on the Pittsburgh Panthers. And that's all the notable games as of right now that's worth talking about. Again, continue to root for the Rock Chop Jayhawk. Continue to root for that because that is a good one, a big one. And again, the Gators are kicking the field goal right now, about to go up 7-0 on the Georgia Bulldogs. Miami is down 7-0. Let's continue with this Florida State talk. Florida State, man. Jordan Travis goes 22 for 35, 359 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Though he might have probably should have thrown a couple. Wake Forest dropped one easy interception. I don't even know. And TVG just threw a pick. Let's go Cavaliers, man. Miami, you guys suck. Anyway, Jordan Travis probably should have thrown an easy pick there, but he at the end of the day he finishes with no interceptions and 3 touchdowns and 359 yards passing. Trey Benson had a hell. Everybody, we talking about JT, and JT had an awesome game. Trey Benson, man. Trey Benson ran for 55 yards and a touchdown, but he had 4 receptions for 100 yards and another touchdown. 2 total touchdowns and over 150 yards total for Trey Benson. Big game from number 3. Jordan Travis also added 29 yards on the ground and another touchdown. So 4 total touchdowns for Jordan Travis. Keziah Holmes had 4 carries for 19. Rodney 5 for 11. Toafili 1 for 9. Rodemaker even adds 6 yards rushing. Altogether, Florida State ran for 126 yards. Trey Benson was your leading receiver, but came Keon Coleman, 7 for 66 and 2 touchdowns. Jaheim Bell had a nice game, 4 for 51. Morlock with some good catches, man, 2 for 45, Jakai, 2 for 36. Tron had 1 for 33, was robbed of a touchdown. I think everybody knows Jakai should have had a touchdown in this game. Darian, 1 for 23. Rodney Hill, 1 for 23. And Toafili only went 1 for 5 out of the backfield. Jordan Travis also had a fumble, but they recovered it, so it does not count as a lost fumble. Deuce Spann had 2 kick returns for 68 yards, a long of 43. Keon Coleman went 3 punt returns, long of 13 for 24 yards. Fitz, man, Ryan freaking Fitzgerald. We've been praising him all year. And look, I'm not going to stop praising him. He's been very good this year. But he finally missed a kick today as Fitz goes 2 for 3 on the day, a long of 46, perfect on the extra points, but he did miss his first kick of the season today. Ryan Fitzgerald, that's okay, man. It happens. Everybody messes up. One kick out of 8 games is not a big deal. Shout out to Fitzgerald. And Mastromato, man, continues to be, I think, the best punter in the country. The man had 5 punts, about 44 yards a punt, and 2 inside the 20-yard line. And of course, it takes a while for the defensive stats to load up here. So we'll wait to read off some defensive stats. But I think Verse had at least 2 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure I know Pat had another one. FSU had, I think, 5 or 6 sacks at the half. So we'll see what they finish with. We'll wait for the defensive stats to eventually get pulled up here. Drink some water. Drink some water, man. This game, I legit don't watch, or I legit watch this game, and I didn't see anything. I didn't have a problem with it with any play calls that I can think of. FSU did what they wanted to do this game, guys. I don't have any real, I know people sometimes want to hear the nitpicks. I don't have any today. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, we got into I can come in here and talk about penalties, but some of the penalties, and you guys know me, man. I don't come out here and I don't talk about the refs too much. At the end of the day, if you do what you're supposed to do as a football team, I believe the refs play a very minuscule part in the outcome of football games. I really believe that. And you see all that again today. Refs didn't play a big part in this game. But because of that, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the refs because there were some egregious calls. And here's the problem with the calls. I don't have necessarily a problem with some of your calls, but you have to call them both ways. The refs started calling these phantom horse collar penalties. But then for some reason, Florida State didn't get any horse collar calls, but by the way they were calling him in the game, you know how many times I saw a Florida State player get dragged down by the back of his jersey, and I didn't get a horse collar. I thought that was pretty ridiculous. We talked about the first half calls that I didn't think were again, didn't have a problem with the holding call. I thought the pass interference call was bogus. Then you don't call roughing. Like, I don't understand how you don't call roughing the passer on the quarterback when he's sliding and gets hit from behind. But then they had a ridiculous personal foul call on DJ Lundy when they're gang tackling a running back. So if that's what I'm going to complain about, I'm going to complain about these god-awful ACC refs today. And they didn't impact the game because FSU is just a flat-out better team than Wake Forest. But I really thought there were some bogus calls in this game. And that's really the only nitpick I can have. And that has nothing to do with FSU. As far as FSU goes, I guess if you want to nitpick on anything, you can say, maybe – I mean, they ran the ball 30 times. Like, ran 30 times. You threw the ball 35 times. So we continue to be fairly even offensively. What do you guys got? I know I'm talking a lot, but again, I don't see anything. I don't see anything that I really would say was something that Florida State. I mean, Florida just continue to work on, what we just need to work on. It's not. At no point was this game ever in jeopardy. Even when it was early in the game and 10 to whatever it was, right? This game was never in jeopardy. Let's get to some of these comments and see what y'all are talking about. Brandon, what's going on, man? He says, this is an awesome Saturday. Hold on. So I'm just start playing in my ear. This is an awesome Saturday. Miami will lose and UGA will be out of the way. It's looking that way. Not only will UGA maybe, now UGA right now is driving. I think they're in the red zone. Yes, they're second and goal right now. So UGA is about to tie this, or trying to tie it up, should I say. But also if Oklahoma can go down, that's a perfect Saturday if you're a Seminole fan. I'm just telling you that right now. Pat had a great game. I thought Pat played a very good game. What up, Insane? Grillmaster says, all around solid game. I don't know. Don't really have anything to complain about. Wish we could have kept the second half shut up. I guess, yeah, I do. Okay, that's something. If you want to nitpick. FSU has been lights out in second halves, but unfortunately we did give up we gave up 9 points in the second half. That was a first for us. I would also ask, though, how many times have we gone into halftime this year up 34-7? So a little bit of a letdown there in the third. Kind of a natural thing, I think. Yeah, I said today I don't have a problem with the game. I thought they played a complete game. I mean, there's arguments to be made about that third quarter that I saw some people nitpicking the third quarter, but FSU hadn't came into again, not counting Southern Miss, right? That's always the outlier game. FSU hasn't had a game where they were up 34-7 coming out of the half. And it's only natural for that team to maybe have a little bit of a letdown. And Wake Forest has some scholarship guys, and they still only gave up 9 points in the second half when we start talking about complete games. I mean, I think some of the third quarter is being too overly criticized by those who are criticizing it. Yeah. And then we didn't score at all in the third quarter. But again, that's the nature of this team, man. If you go watch this team, like we were in position to score 20 plus points in the first quarter, and we only scored 10. And then they blow up in the second quarter, right? And it's kind of the same thing against Duke where you don't blow up till the fourth quarter. And I think the same thing against LSU, man. Like, it's kind of, again, understand the team you're watching, understand the trends. We have quarters where we look, dare I say, we have quarters where we look like that 2013 offense, right? We just don't sustain it for a complete game, but that's okay because it's not like we're giving up 20-point quarters either. So that recipe is working, and it's a recipe that continues to work as far as I'm concerned. You can maybe not have, like, you only score 10 points in the first, 0 points in the 0 points in the third, and only a touchdown in the fourth, but then you got a 24-point quarter. That works because you don't give up 24-point quarters. So to answer the question, though, yeah, I think it was a fairly good game. And then, you break the losing streak to Wake Forest, which is also a big deal. Breaking that losing streak is a big deal. Another small hurdle that you are getting over when it comes to your goal. Yeah, I hear you, Corey. That small hurdle you're attempting to get over, on your way to the ACC and potential playoff. Clemson is officially broken, guys. Klubnik with the pick six. NC State. This is not the NC State of the past couple of years. 4-3 NC State, 1-2 in the ACC. NC State is up 17-7 in the third over Clemson. And if you've watched the Clemson Tigers, they don't have the offense to come back. Clemson's officially broken. Clemson is officially broken, my people. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Clemson's done. Kansas continues to lead into the fourth. Florida's up 7-3 on Georgia. Texas up 7-0. Oregon up 7-3. Duke down to Louisville. And then you have this Miami game, which is actually on commercial right now. Last I saw, TVD was doing TVD things. So we'll see what happens with the Virginia game. And I'm still waiting for them to upload some defensive stats for this game. I want to talk some about this defense. I thought the defense played very well, man. Quarterback's not good for Wake Forest, but what I really liked is I think our secondary continues to get better. Ronaldo and these guys, I think, continue to play better. The D swarm today. I thought the D line played well. They gave up a few big runs. If we go to Wake Forest's, Mitch Griffiths was 6 for 16 for 82 yards. Justin Ellison had 10 for 77. He had a long of 51. That was their big run of the day. But outside of that, I'm not even going to go over all the other running backs Wake Forest toted out there. Wake Forest ran the ball 50 times for 2.6 yards a carry, folks. You can say what you want. I know at times it looked like those guys were able to run the ball. The numbers don't lie. Wake Forest ran the ball 49 times for 2.6 yards a carry. That ain't efficient. That's great run defense there. And I know everybody after last week seeing what happened at Duke said Florida State's weak on the ground. That's great run defense. That's great run defense right there. 49 rushing attempts at 2.6 yards per carry. Great run defense. That is great run defense. And then, of course, you only gave up 82 yards in the air. I mean, whew. That's good. That's coming off of a Duke game where you were, I won't say exposed. I don't think you were exposed, but Duke had positive plays on the ground. Duke ran the ball, especially in that first half, first half, Duke ran it fairly effectively. Louisville's up 14-0 on Duke. We may have broken Duke too, guys. And then, like, every time we beat a team, the next game, they completely fall apart. Duke is down 14-0 to the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville may very well be a team that we have to see come ACC time. I think Louisville does Louisville play North Carolina? That's going to be interesting if Louisville doesn't play the Tar Heels. So, good defensive numbers from FSU. Can't pull up the individual stats right now, but right now you got Florida, who just fumbled against Georgia, but they recovered it. Florida's up 7-3. Duke's losing 14-0. Every time I look at the Miami game, for some reason, it's on a commercial, so I still don't know what the hell's going on Miami, Virginia. Other than that, they are losing. Oklahoma has the ball right now with 6 minutes left, down 27-32. I need Kansas to pull that off, man. I need Kansas to pull that off. And that's all we got. Joe says Kansas just blew it. Maybe I'm behind. Did Oklahoma just score or something? Yeah, let me check. Or did they turn the ball over? Oh, it looks like Oklahoma's in the red zone on a 1st and goal, which is why Joe said Kansas might have just blown it. Bad business, man. Bad business. Jonathan says, I'm not concerned with anyone on our schedule or in the ACC. Only FSU can beat FSU. Duke is now playing their road games. Most of the big games they had early in the year were at home. They are on the road at Louisville right now. And looks like Riley Leonard's playing, and he shouldn't be. I'm not a fan of playing Riley Leonard when you know what makes him effective. What makes him an effective player is his legs, and if the guy can't run, he's a sitting duck back there because his arm isn't that special, in my opinion. So, Elko, you're not doing your – but that might say more about the backup than it does about the coach. Look, I still got faith in Kansas. Kansas is now down 33-32. I think the extra point still pending. So it's looking like Kansas can still win. There's plenty of time left on this clock for Kansas to make something happen. Not giving up on the Jayhawks just yet. OU will be rewarded for being on a tough – most likely. OU will get praised for winning a tough one against the Jayhawks, or if that was anyone else, they would get torn asunder, so to speak. A week that on paper kind of didn't look that big this week. I mean, you got some pretty good games on right now. So college football never fails us, man. Hit the like button if you're a college football fan. Share the video if you're a Florida State fan, and subscribe if you're a Florida State fan, because OU fails the 2-point. Oh, yeah, Kansas, all you need is a field goal. Don't do anything stupid. Hey, Kansas can do it, y'all. Kansas can get it done. I think Kansas is going to get it done. I got faith in Kansas. Virginia Tech and Boston College. Virginia Tech put it on. Who did I watch them play Thursday? I forget who they were playing, but they whooped them. Man, who did they play? Does anybody remember who Virginia Tech played Thursday? I can't remember who they played, but they had a very good game. And Boston College, I think, played I forget who Boston College played today. But I know they won. But they didn't play a very good team either. I think they played like UConn. I think they played UConn. Syracuse. Yeah, they destroyed Syracuse. Yep, it was Cuse. Absolutely put it on Cuse. And Boston College played UConn today. They were only up 14-7 when I saw that. I don't know what the end score ended up being at the Boston College UConn game. Does Virginia Tech still have a chance? I didn't know that. I didn't know they still had a chance. 7-0 still Virginia, and Virginia has the ball driving on Miami. Look, Miami's cheeks, guys. They let that Clemson win boost them up. And it's not going to matter in the end when Virginia comes and takes care of business here. Speaking of Clemson, they're still down 17-7 to North Carolina State Wolfpack. And Georgia's still down to Florida, 3-7. As you see, man, I got all the decent games on right now, at least the games that should pertain to us. Florida, Miami, and an ACC top 25 matchup with Duke and Louisville, all on TV here in the studio. And, of course, we're talking about this 41-16 win that FSU had over the Wake Forest Deacons. Let me see if I can find some defensive stats so I can talk about the defense. I want to get some individual defensive stats, and I can't find any. It usually does take a while to get those out to the public. Let's try a different website. Nope. Go defense. Here we go. So, defensively, Jared Verse did have 2 sacks. Byron Turner had a sack. The only credited Pat with a half a sack, which I think is garbage because that was a whole sack, but whatever. Tatum Bethune with half a sack. DeLoach with a sack. Dylan Brown Turner, freshman linebacker, also got a sack. Leading tackler for the team looks like Caden DeLoach with 7. Byron Turner had 5. Shaheem had 4. Akeem Dent had 4. Daniel Lyons had 3. Verse had 4. So those are just some of the defensive stats coming from the game. But Jared Verse with 2 sacks. Good defensive game. Good defensive game. What up, Terrell? Georgia did just score number 84. I'm assuming that's – no, I have no idea who 84 is. Is that the backup tight end? But Georgia did just score, so now they're up 10-7 on the Gators. 10-7. Omar Graham had a sack. He's not listed here with the sack. They just count that as a tackle. I don't know if they figured that was a design run, but they did not give Omar Graham that sack. How about Tate? He had that one good pass. He has a rifle, man, but we've always said that about Tate, right? I don't think Tate, in my opinion, I've never questioned Tate's arm. I've always questioned his decision making, the speed of the game for him, those things, right? Never questioned Tate's arm. Back when we were, really down on Tate Rodemaker and didn't think he even had a future here. Remember spoiled rat meat and all of that. Back when we were saying those things, it had to do with him throwing gazillion interceptions. Every time he came in the game, it's like his first pass of the game would be a pick. And I think the speed of the game was too much for him, or his confidence wasn't high, or whatever it was. Those were the things about Tate that we routinely questioned, but it was never his arm. Big arm. He's always had a big arm. And as the game has slowed down for him, it seems, as he's gotten more confident in what he's being asked to do and his ability, knowing what he's supposed to do, I think Tate Rodemaker has been very, very solid in the time. I mean, he was 1 for 1 for 23 yards. I mean, in garbage time, What I thought was a pretty impressive pass. But Tate continues to do what he's been asked to do as the guy coming in relief situations. Basically, he continues to do that. What the heck happened? NC State's up 24-7. Did they just score again? Clemson's on the verge of being blown out by the NC State Wolfpack. Again, not a good NC State team. What just MJ Morris with a 72-yard bomb. Wow. Clemson up 20. Clemson getting boat raced by the Wolfpack 24-7. Bad days in Clemson, South Carolina. Great days for us because the world is coming back to where it's supposed to be. Clemson is middle of the pack. Miami's butt cheeks. And FSU sits atop the state of Florida and the ACC as it's supposed to be, folks. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's check what's going on in this game. As there's only 2 minutes left here. Kansas is driving. Man, I just all I need from them is to get in field goal range and hit it. Right now, Kansas is there. They are 2nd and 10 at the OU 48. So we'll see what happens, man. That game's coming down to the wire. Kansas versus Oklahoma coming down to the wire right there. I have no clue why everybody keeps saying Miami's defensive line is good. They ain't. No, they're not. That Ruben Bain is good. Ruben Bain's a good player. He's a good freshman. We're going to see how good Ruben Bain is next year. Because guess what? Next year is that year where what you're seeing from a Jarrett Verse and a Pat Payton this year. Next year is the year where everybody's got tape on you. Next year is the year where everybody's scouting you to stop you. They're scheming up offensive alignments, offensive play calls to negate what a Ruben Bain does. Next year will be the year to see how good exactly is Ruben Bain. But I do think he's a very good player. But as a D-line as a whole, no, it's not great. It's not great. Does Johnny play next week against Pitt? It's going to be all about that concussion stuff. If he, I said it before, if he has a concussion, he's probably got. I wouldn't play him until Miami. If it was a legit concussion. I believe so too, to be honest with you. I know we like to rush in the shiny new toy, and there's going to be a lot of Brock Glenn hype this offseason. I guarantee it. A lot of people are already putting AJ Duffy in the transfer portal, and they're like, Brock Glenn is going to do, oh no, Kansas just threw an interception. And just like that, the hopes and dreams of us seeing Oklahoma falls. That's okay. They can't justify keeping Oklahoma in. Definitely can't justify any type of top four talk with Oklahoma or anything with that performance they had today. But Oklahoma looks like they're gonna squeak out a victory. They're gonna squeak out a victory there. But yeah, I think Tate's gonna be the guy next year. And Virginia's about to go up. Oh, he got tackled. But Miami sucks. If you're a Miami fan and you're watching this, you suck. Anyway, let's continue. Because they suck, Tyler. Virginia's not a good football team. I know they upset North Carolina, and I think a lot of that had to do with North Carolina was just playing with their food. And you know what happens when you let a team stick around that's not supposed to stick around, and all of a sudden you're in a game and things happen. But Virginia's just lining up and beating Miami right now because they suck. I hate sucks. Sick of it. I'm only like this because their fan base is so loud and so vocal, and they're so quick to call a player overrated on another team. They're so quick to call another head coach trash on another team. They don't have none of that energy for their own squad. You suck. Your head coach sucks. Everything about Miami sucks. That's why I'm like this. Maybe if they had some self-awareness, I wouldn't be like this. But they so quick to call someone else out and not realizing that if they look in the mirror would shatter. Exactly. That's 2 back-to-back weeks for Oklahoma. I agree, Anthony. Let's continue to talk about a team that really matters in big-time college football. The Florida State Seminoles. Let's talk about that because, they're a team that actually matters. Number 4 team in the country. 8-0, 6-0 in the conference. Players of the game. Well, let's see. We've done the stats. Where does that lead us? That leads us to position grades. So as we continue to watch the other games around the country, and I continue to roast Miami every chance I get as Virginia's trying to go up 14-0. And Clemson has completely imploded, and who knows what's going on with Dabo and that program. We might want to start looking at that team and see if there's anybody on that recruiting that we might possibly want to get out of Clemson and Florida and Georgia and all that. Let's go over position grades, man. We'll do players of the game after position grades. Quarterback. Start with the quarterback. Y'all are doing players of the game. I'm doing position grades. A-. Y'all still naming players of the game, but we're grading positions. We're grading positions. Virginia goes up 10-0. I like the A-. I'm gonna give him a solid A. I'm gonna give him a solid A as far as quarterback goes. A+ is a good grade. Whatever you want to give him, really. I'm gonna give him a solid A. I kind of grade Jordan Travis with the curve sometimes. I still think he leaves stuff out there. But anytime you go through 359 yards and 3 touchdowns, 10 yards a pass, another touchdown on the ground. The crazy thing about it with Jordan Travis, and the reason I'm only giving him an A, if the man wanted to, he could have had 50-plus rushing yards in this game. And you could be talking about, we could be talking about continuing to that Heisman talk, but he only had 29 yards on the ground and a touchdown, which is still a great game from Jordan Travis. But quarterbacks get an A. And Tate Rodemaker with his 1 pass and him with his 1 rush. I got to give the quarterbacks an A for sure. I thought Travis had a great game. And statistically, I thought it was definitely his best game of the season. Definitely his best game of the season. You notice Miami and Florida always try to compare their players to FSU players now. That's what you call living rent free. Running backs. 30 carries, 126 yards, only 4.2 yards a carry, but had 2 touchdowns added on top of that. The running backs get an A. The running backs get another A for me. The running backs did a lot of damage in the air and on the ground because of the combination. I mean, Rodney Hill had a 23-yard catch. Toafili had 1 catch for 5 yards. We know Trey Benson had 4 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Keziah Holmes had went 4 for 19. Running backs as a whole get an A. I don't know how you can give them a B- unless you're just strictly saying run the ball. As a total game, the running backs get an A. How does Kansas have the ball? Hold on. Kansas has the ball. 1:53 left. What happened? Let's go, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I don't know what happened, but Kansas has the ball. Kansas has the ball. So we got to keep watching that. But again, running backs for me get an A. Receiving and running as a group, the running backs get an A in my opinion. I don't think there were any bad plays from the running backs. I thought when guys got opportunities, they made the most of them. I thought the running backs played good as a unit. Running backs get an A. Wide receivers. And, of course, we lump our tight ends in with our wide receivers. Just a quick stat. Again, the stats, not counting Trey Benson. So you take 100 yards off of Trey Benson. Your wide receivers, 7 for 66 for Coleman and 2 touchdowns. Jaheim Bell had 51 yards. Morlock had 45. Chakai had 36. Tron had 33. Williamson had 23. How do we feel our wide receivers did? Boxing Monster says wide receivers get an A+. Seminole Zach says they about to win. Maybe RJ will. He can't help it. Hit RJ Young. This is RJ Young. That is RJ Young. That is his name. RJ Young, a.k.a. Dick Eaton. I'm sure we'll have something to say about Florida State, though we took care of business and try to excuse his Sooners. Mr. Dick Eaton himself, RJ Young. Wide receivers for me, Coleman took care of business. There's times where Keon Coleman makes it look very effortless. Jaheim Bell played a very good game. Morlock played good. I'm giving the wide receivers another A. Quarterback A, running backs A, wide receivers A. I think wide receivers played a very good game as well. Kansas is about to score. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Touchdown, Jayhawks. Touchdown, Jayhawks with 58 seconds left. Let's go. Touchdown, Jayhawks. Absolutely big time. Man, today might be a perfect day. Except that, well, let's see what's happening. Yeah, today might be a perfect day as Georgia's probably gonna blow Florida out. Miami sucks again. They suck. Today's gonna be a good day, guys. Today's going to be a good day. O-line, guys. Let's go with O-line. How we feel about the O-line today. How did your offensive line play? You can make the argument that Bell is the best tight end in the country. As long as Brock Bowers is playing football, I can't make that argument. Now, I know he's hurt. And because he's hurt, I get why someone would maybe say that. But as long as Brock Bowers is a person, I can't say that. O-line. How do we feel about the O-line? We had I thought a very ticky-tack holding call on 70. 70 had some bad if you go back and watch, man, Roddick, I don't think Roddick had his best game today. I think if you go back and watch, I don't think 70 had his best game today. 70 had some blown blocks on that. Now, first of all, I hate the jet sweeps. One, because they never work. I don't know why we continue to run the jet sweeps, but we do. And don't tell me, well, they would have blocked it right. Well, they never block it right. So maybe since they can't block it, maybe you should stop calling it, right? But anyway, 70 didn't play very good today, I don't think. Or I won't say he didn't play very good. He just had some noticeable bad plays. So you take a few bad plays. Maybe he played a little better on some of the other snaps. I don't think Roddick had his best game. I don't think 63 played as bad as he's usually played. I don't. What the reason I say that there's usually plays where I'm watching and I'm 63 is just getting blown up, and I didn't see that, which means he wasn't glaring. He didn't bounce off my screen as he was just getting beat. So I don't think 63 played a terrible game. Or not very noticeably bad game. 70 was the guy who was kind of jumping off my screen today. He didn't play that well today. He didn't play that well today. So overall for me, man, I'm gonna give that O-line, because there was a few plays and a holding call did bring a touchdown off the board. I gotta give that O-line a B. I'm gonna give it just a solid B. I don't think it played bad, but there were some plays. A B. I like the B plus grade 2, Ronald, because like on the screen plays, which O-line made a lot of those big time plays for Trey Benson, and some of that stuff. So the O-line did have their moments where they were really good. They also had some moments where they, maybe let us down a little bit. I'm gonna give them a B. Solid B for the O-line. The Miami is finally on the board, down 10-3 on Virginia. Miami has mustered all of 3 points. Miami has mustered all of 3 points on the mighty Virginia Cavaliers. And Oklahoma, it's only 25 seconds left. And Oklahoma is down 33-38 as Rock Chalk Jayhawk looks like they about to do the Lord's work on this beautiful Saturday. How many targets Bowers get with a Keon Coleman, a Johnny Wilson on the team? I mean, I hear you. Bell is not neck and neck. Let me ask you this. How many drops does Bowers have? How many drops does Bell have? You forget Bowers has been that guy since he was a freshman. Bowers has been the guy when he was a freshman. So you can't use Keon and Johnny as an excuse for Bowers, because Bowers been the tight end at Georgia since they've been winning natties in back-to-back years. And let's not act like Georgia don't recruit wide receivers and didn't have Stetson Bennett, who threw for 4,000 yards or whatever it was he was doing. Look, I'm not going there with you. If you feel that way, you're allowed to feel that way. I don't think Jaheim Bell is as good as Brock Bowers. Bowers has been the guy since his freshman year. Point blank, period. Doesn't mean Jaheim Bell's not a good player. I just don't think he's up there with Brock Bowers. I missed it. How'd Kansas go up? Apparently, Oklahoma went 3 and out, and Kansas just marched right down the field. And Georgia's on their way to blowing out the Gators. So, any hopes that Georgia would take an L is probably dying here very shortly, as Mertz just fumbled it. I don't even think Mertz was there. Mertz, actually, he was. He fumbles it. And I think Marvin Jones Jr. recovered the fumble. I think that's who that was. And who's number 7 on Georgia? That's Marvin Jones Jr., isn't it? Number 7? I think Marvin Jones Jr. Just recovered a fumble. He didn't create the fumble, but he just recovered the fumble on that Mertz just had. And Georgia's about to go up 24-7 on the lowly Lizards. And we know they suck too. Florida might be lucky if they win. I mean, they still have what? LSU, Missouri. That Missouri game ain't no joke. They're going to lose this one. They still got the big dogs. Yeah. Florida's about to lose another 4 games easily. Florida's going to lose another 4 games. I feel Bell is as athletic. I can say that I think Bell has all the athleticism in the world. I don't think he's as good as Bowers. Virginia with the ball on Miami. And Oklahoma officially goes down to the Kansas Jayhawks. I'm pretty sure Mr. RJ Young is going to have very little to say. He'll probably go – he probably won't – knowing him, he won't start tweeting again until Colorado plays UCLA tonight. Once his main man Dion starts playing tonight, he'll be tweeting again. Well, so one upset happens. Now we just need a couple more. That Georgia one's not happening, folks. We can cancel Christmas on that one. But you might get a couple more down the stretch. Oklahoma's in scoring position. Let's go on to the defense. D-line. How do we think our D-line play? How do we think our D-line played today? As we keep on moving along with the grades. Every position on offense got an A, with the exception of the O-line, who I gave a solid B to. What are we going with the D-line? What are we going? You got Wisconsin beating Ohio State? Okay. D-line A+, A. Yeah, I feel you guys on the D-line. Jared Verse played very good. He probably had his best individual game today. Pat played extremely well. I had a feeling Pat would play well in this game. Verse was just that good too. I'm going A to A+ for the D-line myself. I'm going A to A+. I thought the edge guys played particularly well. Byron Turner got a lot of snap. Byron Turner got called for some bad penalties, and I know that's not going to, I know that's going to show up as bad plays or whatever. I thought Byron Turner played hard. I thought he played physical. I thought he had some real bogus horse collar calls on him and roughing calls. I didn't think were really those calls. I thought Byron Turner played a really good game. And it was good to see a guy like a Byron Turner have a game like that. Again, Pat and Verse had games. Fisk had another game like he always seems to do. D-line had a good game. D-line had a very good game today. A+, yeah, A to A+. I'm with you guys there. Here's the big one. Well, here's an interesting one, should I say. Linebackers. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about the linebackers? As Georgia is on a 3rd and 2, and Florida's just stood up Georgia in the end zone or in the red zone. Is this about a 4th and 1? If I'm Georgia, I'm going for it. I'm not scared of a Mertz-led offense against the Georgia defense, and they can still pick up a first down. If I'm Georgia, I'm definitely going for it. Because either way, Florida's not about to ride 99 yards down the field. So, linebackers B-. I like that grade. I think the linebackers didn't play terrible, but I thought on the big runs that they did have, I felt like the linebackers, and Georgia just scored. They're going up 24-7 on the Gators. I felt like some of the big plays on the ground that Wake Forest had a little bit to do with shooting the wrong gaps, man. Lundy was out of position on some stuff. Lundy wasn't very good in coverage, but we know that. And any team that's smart, in my humble opinion, this is not me coming down on Lundy, I think Lundy has been one of the more improved players over his time at Florida State. And I love having DJ Lundy on the team. But if I'm an offensive coordinator, anytime I see 10 out there, I'm calling something of a pass play his way. I'm matching up a running back. I'm matching up somebody on him because that's a winning recipe, in my opinion. Linebackers played an okay game today, I think. B minus is a fine grade, I think, for the linebackers. Could have played better. Didn't play terrible, but they weren't great either. I thought Kalen DeLoach played a very good game, but there's more than just one guy out there playing that position. So there's that. There was a good, I don't know if you guys saw the segment on Tatum Bethune and his mom, or that's mom, his great, I think it was 3-time great grandmother. Did y'all see that story? I thought that was one. I kind of blew my mind, and that's a very dope story about Tatum Bethune and his great grandmother, and I think it says she was one of the founders of Bethune, and was like a worked for the president or something, some shit like that. Man, it was a really dope story, I thought, for Tatum Bethune and his lineage, man, his family lineage. I thought that was really great aunt. It was okay. I knew it was a great something. That jump was really cool, man. Hearing about that stuff. Trying to see what is Virginia trying to do here. Musket sucks. Miami will win this game just because Virginia's a bad football team. Like, Virginia's no good. Like, that play was ridiculous. What are you doing? Just throw the ball away. Secondary, y'all. What do y'all think about the secondary today? What do y'all think about the secondary? Let's check on, hold on, we got to check on some more games, man. What's going on with the Clemson Tigers? Anybody still paying attention to that one? Don't worry, I'm about to let you know. 24-14 as NC State is still on top of the Clemson Tigers. You're from Florida, you should know that. Yeah, because everybody from Florida knows that. What do y'all think about the secondary? What do y'all think of the secondary? Secondary A. Secondary gets an A. Great coverage. Let the D line E. I agree. There were definitely some coverage sacks. Definitely some coverage sacks there for that D line. Absolutely agree there. I actually don't think Shaheen played that good today, if I'm being honest with you. But that's just one player. I thought guys like Ronaldo and the other guys I thought actually played fairly well. When you say okay game, I agree with that. Like I don't think Shaheen played exceptional today. And he's been on fire really the last 2 weeks. If you pay attention to Shaheen Brown, he's really been on fire the last 2 weeks, but he kind of came back down to earth today, I think. Yes, Oklahoma lost. Trey Benson broke the rock. Okay. Duke is losing. Yes, they are. So, quick score check around college football. Oklahoma, in case you're just tuning in or just checking in, gets upset by the Kansas Jayhawks. Shout out to the Jayhawks. We don't have to hear about that Oklahoma trash anymore. Don't have to worry about that. Clemson is down 10 to the Wolfpack, 24-14. as Clemson is just a broken shell of themselves at this point, and I love every minute of it. Florida's getting dick smashed by the mighty Georgia Bulldogs as Mertz gets sacked yet again. And Georgia is up 24-7 on the Iguanas of Florida, and it's about to get ugly over there in Jacksonville at the biggest tailgate party. Miami sucks. I continue to say it. The Miami Hurricanes are a disgrace to football in the state of Florida. Down 10-7. What are they down? 10-3. They haven't even been able to muster a single touchdown against the Virginia Cavaliers. Just a disgrace to football. Miami's down 10-7 to the Cavaliers. Oregon is up 21-3 on Utah. Texas is up 14-0, and Notre Dame up 14-0, and Louisville is up 14-0 on the Duke Blue Devils. Georgia is about the. If you have kids listening, close their ears. Georgia's about to pull them panties to the side and have their way with the Gators of Gainesville. That's what's about to happen right now. Georgia's about to pull them to the side and have their way. It's about to get ugly in Jacksonville. Yeah, if Virginia didn't suck, this game would be over, William. Absolutely. If Virginia wasn't god-awful, Miami would already be down like 24-3. Luckily for Miami, Virginia is actually not a good football team. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami found a way to came back and win it. They still suck. November 11th can't get here soon enough. So there's your grades, man. Helmet stickers. Well, player of the game and helmet stickers don't necessarily coincide here. Let's do the player of the game. I saw a lot of JT verse, JT Pat. I think Benson should get some recognition as a potential player of the game when you have over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown and 50 yards on the ground. I mean, Benson had a really good game. Hey, man, I'm just telling you what's about to happen. That thing in Jacksonville is about to get really nasty. It's 26-7. I'm sorry. Verse and Benson. I'm not mad at that. I know defensively I thought Pat was going to be a player of the game or my defensive guy. I don't remember who I said offensively. Anybody who remember who I said offensively on Wednesday was my offensive watching to see offensive player of the game. Did I say Jordan Travis or did I say one of the receivers? I might have said Keon Coleman. I really don't remember who I said. On Wednesday. But it's hard for me to not give it to Jordan Travis. I mean, you throw for 350 plus, 4 total touchdowns. It's hard not to give it to that guy offensively. And defensively, I think you got a lot of defensively, I think it could go to Verse or Pat, in my opinion. I think both of those guys played absolutely outstanding football. You said you're dying. Hey, bro. Look. Everybody who's watching that knows how that thing's about to end over there in Jacksonville. And it ain't going to be pretty. I'm going to give it to – I won't be biased. I could easily give it to Patrick Payton because that's who I picked. But I'll give it to Verse. Verse had 2 sacks. Verse played a very good game. I think the D-line as a whole is going to earn the helmet sticker as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to put – it's Wake Forest, so we're not going to overreact. per se, but I'm definitely going to put a helmet sticker on there as a whole for that D-line. I thought the D-line looked very good. And when I say I thought top to bottom, like everybody looked like they were playing very good football on that defensive line. So I want to give that entire D-line credit. I'll give Verse defensive player of the game, and I'll give JT offensive player of the game. But as we continue to work our way on the helmet, this sticker is going to go ahead and go to that whole D-line. I thought the D-line played very well. And that's what I'm going to call them, the Gainesville Gators. I'm not even going to have – they shouldn't have Florida in their name. They're disrespect to the state. I'm just going to call them the Gainesville Iguanas. Joe says, I'm trying to get flight tickets to the UM game. If you haven't – look, Joe, I book all my stuff for the Miami game. What's it? About a month and a half ago. That you're about to pay a pretty penny if you're trying to book hotels or anything like that. You're gonna have to pay some money. You're gonna have to pay some money there. Fisk, I think, if y'all want to have this conversation, great question. And I know who's the flashy player, and he's a great player in and of itself. But who's the better transfer portal get? Braden Fisk or Keon Coleman? I'm very interested in you guys' answers. Who was the better transfer portal get? Braden Fisk or Keon Coleman? What do you mean? What kind of question is that? It's a great question. Who's the bigger get? Coleman or Fisk? You say Coleman easily. Florida Geckos. Keon. I think if you're actually watching the football games, I think it's a very hard question. It's easy to say Keon because Keon makes all the flashy stuff. Keon changes the scoreboard. Absolutely. You can't knock anything that happens there. My argument would be for Fisk is if Fisk wasn't on the team, who'd be doing right now what Fisk is doing? Because obviously Fabian Lovett wouldn't be doing it. Joshua Farmer's success this year has a lot to do with Joshua Farmer. But it also has a lot to do with the guy he's lined up next to. The guy he's lined up next to allows him to be put in one-on-one situations to excel. So I'm simply asking a question. Anytime you have a defensive tackle, he makes damn near a defensive tackle that can do the things. He makes so much different levels of a defense better. Malcolm Ray has flash. He's flashed. Fisk ain't flashing. He's on fire. So Ray flashing ain't going to do what Fisk is doing right now. But I understand. I'm not disagreeing that it's Keon. I said when we got Keon, he changes. I said when we got Keon, he changes your record by at least one win. I said that. So I'm not arguing with anybody that says it's Keon Coleman. My argument would be that we're acting like it's not a conversation when it indeed is a conversation to have. They use the term casual. Casually, you would just go Keon Coleman because he plays a more glamorous position in wide receiver. You would go, oh, I see number 4 every play. It's easily Keon Coleman. You sit down and watch the football game, you'll realize what Fisk is actually doing and what he allows your Tatum Bethunes, your K. It's no coincidence that everybody has seemed to improve. DeLoach is playing his best football that he's ever played. So is Bethune. Farmer has went from a rotation guy last year to exploded on the scene this year. None of that is a coincidence. So I'm only making the case for Fisk. I'm not necessarily saying that Fisk is the better player, but my case, if I'm arguing for Braden Fisk, would be if I took him off the defense, who would be doing what he's doing right now? If I took Keon Coleman off of our offense, you still have Johnny Wilson. Johnny's still going to be getting his 100 yards. You would have still had Jaheim Bell. Now, no one's doing what Keon's doing. I'm not going to disagree there. I just think it's a little different, you know. What else y'all talking about? I think they've quit up. I think they've quit as well. Fisk is a major upgrade. Daniel Lyons looks pretty good. Young redshirt freshman, but he look good. No, definitely blessed to have both guys. Look, I'm not trying to make anybody pick, and just because you say one guy don't mean the other guy trash. I know for some reason we live it, and I'm not saying this is you insane. I'm just speaking in general here. But for some reason we live in this day and age where if you say one thing, that means the other thing can't be true. It's got to be the exact opposite. So if you say Keon is the better player, that means you're saying Fisk is trash. No one's saying that. I'm simply asking the tough questions here. I'm simply asking the tough questions. Coleman is number 2 in the entire nation. I think there's an argument to be had. Look, I'm a Florida State fan as much as anyone else. There's Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously. But, man, that boy up in Washington is no joke. There's other wide receivers out there. I'm not saying Keon isn't number 2. I don't know if he's number 2, though. A better question than people who just watch highlights. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's a better question to where if you just watching highlights, of course you're going to say number 4. You're actually sitting down and watching the game within the game, you're going to be like, man, that white dude on that D-line, he flashes, man. He flashes. Ronaldo Green versus Coleman would be a better discussion. You've absolutely lost your mind. But touche to you. You're allowed to have that one. Is the offense better than last year? I think statistically, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're about on par. I think last year's offense looked easier on the eyes, for whatever that's worth. I do think because we have so many weapons, we force things at times that we didn't do last year. Last year, it kind of just seemed like things came a little bit more seamlessly. But when you have the Jaheim Bells and the Keon Colemans and the Morlocks, I do feel like we purposely force things. But statistically, if I'm not mistaken, I think I think the offenses are on par. I don't think there's been this huge improvement. And to KCS's point, I don't know if he's even making this point, but this is actually a great point now that I think about it. Again, another case for Fisk is the offense hasn't drastically improved statistically with the addition of Keon Coleman. What about that defense with Braden Fisk? I've been calling them the clown school down south. So, no, I don't even call them that anymore. Absolutely. Louisville looked pretty good today. Yeah, they looked pretty good against Duke. Greedy Vance versus Keon Coleman. No, we're not downplaying Ronaldo, but you're comparing Ronaldo Green. I don't even know if I'm comparing arguably the best player on the defense to the best player on the offense. Ronaldo Green's not the best player on the defense. Great player, though. He's been very good this year. Great player, though. What's up, Panama? What's up with FSU's interior run block? Do you think our O-line is tough enough to sustain any run attack? Seems like they're forcing a lot of pass plays. Well, the numbers kind of disagree with you, Panama. Florida State's very even across the board here when we run or pass. We throw it about 5 or 6 more times than we run, but FSU's running the ball 30 plus times, so we have more success on the edge. I talked about this Wednesday, man. When we have more success on the edge this year on the running plays. We should continue to do it, man. When they got Trey Benson on that edge, you see what he can do. There's no Dylan Gibbons. I think we kind of hoped Casey Roddick would be that. He's not solid player, but I don't think he's as good as Dylan Gibbons. I think Keandre Jones can be as good as he want to be, but they don't start him. They rotate him with Meach a lot. I think that's just them giving Meach a lot of, he's like a 6th or 7th year guy who came back, and so they're just going to do that for Meach. Running on the outside just seems to be working better this year. But it's not like they are abandoning the run. They're still running the ball plenty. Mike did some great stuff with disguising the screens. Mike called some good plays today. Mike had some good plays today. Man, that's all that matters, Ice Cold. I'm pleased. That's it. That's the post. What's up, man? How can you not be pleased when you're watching Oklahoma just lost to Kansas? Oklahoma should have lost last week to UCF. But that's why UCF can never be in the big three, because they're UCF. But Kansas showed UCF how to get the job done. That's like a great – we can't be too critical as Florida State fans as we continue to win football games. But not all these top teams in the country are winning their football games. And we just saw Oklahoma go down tonight or today. And, I mean, we'll see what happens with some of these other games. But Oklahoma going down is a big deal. I thought maybe Florida could do something, but they're getting taken behind the woodshed. It's straight belt the ass in Jacksonville right now. Belt the bare ass, Georgia and Florida right now, 26-7. So don't even worry about that one. Roddick has become – do you think Roddick's the weakest link? Or, I don't know. He weaker than 63? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe got to watch him a little more. I think Roddick has played a better season than Byers, but again, I might have to go back and watch. Would you be there? If you were a Miami fan, would you sit through that trash? I would. If I'm a Miami fan, there's no way I'm sitting through 6-for-10, 55-yard passing and a touchdown in one half from Tyler Van Dyke, 14 rushes for 3 yards a rush and 44 yards from the running back room. I'm not sitting through that crap if I'm a Miami fan. I'm going to leave that crap too, that clown show down there. I'm not watching that garbage. There's not a chance in hell I'd be sitting in the Hard Rock watching the JV football from that clown show. Y'all gonna fool around and Bama gonna sneak into the playoff. Yeah. Y'all gonna fool around and Bama gonna sneak into the playoff. Especially if they beat LSU and see Georgia in the SEC championship game. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think Bama's the one team that can give Georgia a run in terms of in the SEC. Because Bama's got a legit defense. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Neither guy's been great. That's true too. There's way too much to do than to watch subpar football. Who wants to watch? Again, who wants to watch 6 for 10, 55 yards and a touchdown, 14 rushes for 44 yards, 3 yards a rush? Who wants to watch that when I can be on Ocean Ave? I don't know. I could be doing something. My basketball started. I don't know if Miami plays tonight, but I could go check out the Heat game. Bro, I'm not watching that garbage. I can be resting for the Dolphins or something. Yeah, I'm not paying no attention to that clown show down there. Bro, at this point, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. At this point, I don't think we're gonna get a Robert Scott healthy this year. He was dressed out. I can't recall him seeing a snap. I could be wrong. I wasn't specifically looking for 52, so I don't know how many snaps he played. But at this point, I have no expectation of him to be healthy, unfortunately. It just seems like it's one of those years for him, man. I'm satisfied with our team, but to me, Mike still gets a little too cute when he doesn't have to, especially when Trey Benson broke that handoff for a TD on third down, 2 pass plays, then run. If you're talking about that last touchdown that Benson had, I think Benson just makes a play. I think Mike Norvell was setting up for the field goal there. If you remember, that was a 3rd and long. It was a 3rd and long, and he's already up 34 or whatever it was. I think he was just setting up for a field goal. Trey Benson just so happened to broke it. I think you're looking too much into that one. I don't know what's going to happen with that recruiting class. They're not a good team, but they're still recruiting somehow. We'll see what happens. He probably. I don't know if he has you blocked or not. Y'all send some congratulations to Jerg, by the way. Y'all bringing up Jerg. Jerg just had another daughter. His daughter was just born yesterday. His daughter was just born yesterday. So y'all throw some love to Jerg's way. Yes, he just had another daughter. So new baby in the Henry household. Miami looks like they're driving here in the 3rd. So we'll see if they can tie it up. Again, man, it just sucks that they're playing the Cavaliers, because Cavaliers aren't a good football team. Let's see what's going on. Miami at 3rd and 1. And they run it up the gut for the first. So Miami's driving. If they're smart, they'll keep it on the ground because TVD will probably throw one. I need Virginia to put some more points on the board. And next week, man, we look forward to the Pitt Panthers. And if I'm not mistaken, Pitt's losing 17-0 to Notre Dame. Pitt is another team that, frankly, we shouldn't have too much worry about. What kind of defense is Virginia running? How does that happen? Congratulations to Jerd. Hopefully his children will be FSU fans instead of Coral Gable High School fans. Well, they're, unfortunately, man, not all parents raise their kids the right way, unfortunately. How else would you get Florida and Miami fans? Kids don't get raised right. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to wait and see Klubnik sacked again. And that game's over, man. Clemson, that game's Dunsky. And Miami, unfortunately, they scored. So Miami has tied it, or right now they're down 9-10. Looks like they're going to go ahead and tie it with Virginia. USC, what happened to the mighty Trojans of Southern Cal? Losing to the California Golden Bears 21-17. USC is absolutely – Lincoln Riley is checked out, or something's going on over there for real. Something's happening in Los Angeles, because I don't know what's going on with Southern Cal. Lincoln Riley might be on the way out. 10-10. You know what's crazy? This was the game last year that I don't think either team scored a touchdown and it went to overtime or something. Y'all remember Virginia and Miami was like a triple overtime game at like 17-17. So this actually shouldn't even be shocking for these two teams. Like, this is what they do. Play god-awful football together. They get on the field together. They put on the worst offensive football you'll ever watch, Virginia and Miami. So it actually isn't surprising when you look at what's going on down there in the Hard Rock. This ain't a one-off season for Clemson. This is who they are now, with Elliott and Venables leaving and Dabo not embracing the portal. It's a wrap. They've definitely been trending this way. I agree with that. They've been this season is just a culmination of what Clemson has become. But they've been trending this way, honestly, for about 2 years. I think most people would agree with that. It's all just hitting the pavement right now when it comes to Clemson. But Clemson is only down. They're only down a touchdown. They have the ball. In there, 4th and 19 though, with 31 seconds left. So Clemson is probably going to lose this game. But I don't know, man. Anything can happen on the 4th and 19. We'll pay attention to that one. What's up, Kevin? I think people are talking about the Chargers or the Raiders or one of those West Coast teams that's going to open up. Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley, something's going on. Something weird is going on in Southern Cal, because for that team to be imploding the way it is, this isn't a Clemson situation. This is USC's looking like a Jimbo situation. They got the talent, but something's going on there, and it looks like it's imploding. There it was. I remember last year that was god-awful. 14-12, 4 overtime, nothing but field goals and safety. The worst that is the worst 4 overtime football you could ever watch in your life. So, again, what you're watching here shouldn't even be a surprise. I didn't know Taj Boyd was on the staff either. Right now, honestly, Terrell, I'm chilling, so I didn't really plan on getting off too soon. I'm having fun watching all these other games with y'all. Florida still down 26-7 to the Bulldogs. It actually looks like Georgia's – no, I was about to say maybe Georgia's backed up against their own end zone, but it's almost halftime, so that Georgia's just going to let the clock run and take it into the halftime there. Texas is up 21-3 at the half. Again, if you're just now joining us, down goes the sorry-ass Oklahoma Sooners. So all this stuff is starting. What do we always say, y'all? All Florida State got to do is win. That's what I was preaching 2 weeks ago. And everybody wants these style points. And look, style points, I get it. I absolutely understand the whole reason behind winning impressively, because you never know what these silly voters are thinking. But these teams are going to take care of themselves. The Big 12 is now pretty much added a playoff picture, because Texas and Oklahoma both have L's. The Pac-12, Washington's the only thing that remains there. You got to think Washington is going to take a hiccup somewhere just from the way they looked last week. Virginia's got the ball. Let's see what Virginia can do offensively. And he just threw a pick six. Cam Kitchens just a pick six. Miami's going to go up 17-10. And again, like I said, Miami lucky they playing a trash team in Virginia. That's the only reason they're even in this game. Miami sucks. I don't care. Clemson has shown that they're garbage. So last week's game really didn't mean much. And this game, Virginia's so bad. That's the one thing that we can say, because you're right. I don't think Clemson all of a sudden is just – they look like they're quitting. But at the time we played Clemson, I don't think they were quitting, and we played them at home, and we beat them. On the Pitt Pussycats, because we owe them for 20 – for the 20. I mean, everybody gave us whoopings in 20, but Pitt's not a good team. Early thoughts on Pitt is kind of how I've been feeling about a lot of these other teams like Syracuse, this Wake Forest game. I mean, if you just look at Pitt right now, their quarterback is 9 for 18, 83 yards, and 2 interceptions. They've ran the ball for 9 times for 30 yards. I mean, that looks like they're playing a Florida State defense right there. I expect a very similar performance next week. When we go up there and play them. I expect something similar. So down goes Clemson. Down goes Oklahoma. Again, I don't know what's going on with Lincoln Riley and USC. I don't know. That might be the biggest story of the college football season, kind of, is the USC debacle and what's going on there. And unfortunately, Louisville's up 17-0 on Duke. Looks like we broke Duke last week, guys. Riley Leonard is 6 of 12 for 50 yards. They've only ran the ball for 47 yards. So all that running Duke did on us last week ain't working against the Louisville Cardinals. Duke is not playing well today. And Louisville's playing some good ball. What? He says, I just saw a Greek moving commercial with the ibis, and it looked like it had a stroke. It's going to be interesting because let me check. I don't think Louisville plays North Carolina, y'all. They don't. So if Louisville and North Carolina win out, I'm very curious to see how the ACC figures that one out. Very curious to see how they figure that one out. It's a fan. Some fan brings the goldfish to every game or something like that. If I'm following that story correctly, I think it has something to do with a fan, and A fan brings goldfish to the games or something. There you go. See? Come on, Virginia. Don't quit on me. Come on, Virginia. Let's play like you actually, a semi-decent football team, please. You're making the Miami team that's god-awful look competent, and they are not. But this is the same thing that happened last year. If you remember the Leonard Taylor, all those players that Miami fans say are so great, they got all their stats off of playing Virginia. I think Leonard Taylor had like 4 sacks against Virginia or something like that. You don't do anything else the rest of the season, but they get in these games with Virginia, and Cam Kitchens gets this pick 6, and they get all these sack numbers. They just beat up on these. They don't beat up on them. They go to war with the mighty Virginia Cavaliers and think they're doing something. I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon. You should cook the goldfish? Damn. First of all, I don't think goldfish got enough meat on it to even be decent eating. I just need Virginia to go down here 3rd and 1 on their 45. And they got the first. I just need them to score this up. I don't trust Miami to keep scoring points. They're not good. Don't call out Kane Zay. Kane Zay will be in here. He's probably watching the game. If I was Kane Zay, I wouldn't be in here watching me either. I'd be paying attention, praying to God my team doesn't find a way to lose to Virginia. I guess I'll go about 10 more minutes to the 2-hour mark, and then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, get something to eat, and watch the rest of these games, y'all. But hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share the videos, share the video. FSU, at the end of the day, you're looking at an 8-0 football team. You're looking at a team that I really think is hitting their stride. I mean, let's talk about it. Like, Florida State, and I'm just going to go over the schedule. Florida State, 45-24, 66-13, 31-29, that scare against Boston College, 31-24, overtime against Clemson. Outside of those 2 games, folks, don't let the media tell you FSU's struggling. Outside of those 2 games, Boston College and Clemson, they've beaten, again, 45-24, 66-13, 39-17, 41-3, 38-20, and 41-16. FSU's beating everybody by 20 plus. Let the media tell you we're struggling. Outside of 2 games, FSU's beating everybody by 20 plus points. Oh, my bad, Duke. You only beat Duke by 18. I'm sorry. Come on, man. Don't let the media tell you Florida State's not one of the best teams in the country. They hype up Michigan, even though Michigan ain't played nobody, because they blow everybody out. Florida State's pretty much blowing everybody out too. No, we're not doing it 50-10 or anything wild like that. But you're beating everybody by over double digits. Easy. Easy. You're winning all of these games comfortably. All of them. All of them. 8-0, 6-0 in conference play. You're going on to Pitt. Let's talk. Are we worried about Pitt? Don't worry. We got a whole week to talk Pitt. Pitt's coming up. But come on, man. Come on. At the beginning of this season, you said if JT gets this team to the playoff and he gets a Heisman invite, you might put him over a wing. I keep talking about JT. We keep having this conversation about JT. Every game, he's going higher and higher on the all-time list. They showed a graphic today of he's on a list. JT's on a list with Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, and Jameis Winston. Most consecutive games accounted for multiple touchdowns. JT continues to find his name on the list with these great players, man. I got to stick by what I said. If JT finds a way to get this team to the playoff and gets invited to the Heisman, I mean, I know Winky won a Heisman and a Natty. I know Winky did all of that, but Winky played on some hellacious teams. Y'all. Maybe in a few years we might look at this Florida State 2023 team and say maybe they were better than we initially thought, but I don't know. There's not a lot of first-round guys on this team. I can think of only like two off the top of my head, and that's Coleman and Verse. Then you have some fringe guys, but I don't know, y'all. Tell me I'm off. Maybe I'm off. What's the link? Or what's the name of the channel? I'll go check it out. Not worried about Pitt. I'm with you. I'm not worried about Pitt either. We're going to go handle Pitt too. Anytime a team from the South goes up, I know people like to talk about cold, so that's just a natural thing, but I'm not really worried about Pitt. I said JT over Jameis, and you – man, Dengbei's always on drugs. It's okay. We expect you to say foolish things. Let's go, Virginia. Keep driving the ball. Let's go. Real quick, man, one more time before we get out here, we're going to check out these games. UGA's up 26-7 over Florida. Texas is up 21-3 over BYU. Oregon's up 21-6 over Utah. Notre Dame's up 24-0 over Pitt. That's right, Notre Dame beat them boys into the ground, so they come into next week's game with zero hope of winning. Louisville up 17-0 over Duke. Clemson, the once mighty Clemson football Tigers have fell to the lowly NC State Wolfpack 24. That's 2 losses in a row for Clemson. Clemson is 4-4. When's the last time the Clemson Tigers, y'all, were 4-4? But Clemson finds a way to lose to NC State. Oklahoma Sooners go down to the Kansas Jayhawks, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, as we no longer have to worry about Oklahoma in the playoff picture. That's huge for Florida State as we continue to blow teams out. And that's it, guys. That's all I got today on this great – it was shaping up to be a great Saturday. And the hope is Virginia's losing 10-17 to Miami, but they're inside the red zone, 3rd and 4. They just picked up the first down in the red zone. Virginia's driving, looking to tie it up 17-17 against the Coral Gables Clown College. Coral Gables Clown College. I think Winky was a great player and a leader. I think Jaron Travis is a great player and a leader. So, hey. Again, just because you say one good thing about one guy doesn't mean I'm downplaying another guy. I just think when it's all said and done, we might be saying Jordan Travis over Chris Winky, though I understand Chris Winky's got that Heisman. I don't know if Jordan Travis ever gets that, but we'll see. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Let y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's Saturday afternoon and evening. As always, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's your boy Polk over here on 863 Seminole TV. This was my instant reaction to Florida State and Wake Forest. FSU finishes Wake. Easy work. Virginia is going to try to make this harder than it needs to be. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Stay classy. Go Noles. And we are out here. 8-0 undefeated. We ain't stopping no time soon. I'm gone.